fingernails clenched to the grass in hopes of a pass to live your life once more. No second chance. You never did much living before. You never did much living before. Thank you. And then this is my second one, A Sunny Day. Luminous I am, but darling, what are you? Basking in my brilliance, I'm the star, so what are you? Soaking in my haze, yes, you are amazed, but what are you? Who is the question I must ask? Who are you in summertime? Who were you in winters past? But I fall short. The real question I must ask, I must have you ponder, why are you not radiant? For I am shining as you lay under. Thank you. And then I'm going to read a poem from my poetry book, Daydreaming. And this is one of my favorites. It's called Round Trip. Life is like a round trip. The people with privilege are the captains of the ship. They don't want to say that we're sinking, even though that's what we're all thinking. I can't drown. I can't bring myself to die, not when they think they have the power to make us cry. They stare racism in the eye like it's their friend. They'll do anything to bend the rules for them. I wish that words could cure humanity, maybe free us from insanity, because these ships will keep on sinking, and those SOS lights will keep on blinking unless we help. Life is like a round trip, and I adore it. Life is like a warship, but we can restore it to its natural glory. Because this story gets gorier and gorier every day, and people think that sinking battleships is a game that we should play, like starting wars is the answer. They spread hate like cancer. They put prefixes on our rights to be American. African American, Asian American, Native American. If we kneel during the national anthem, they call us anti-American. Like we deserve to stand for a country who puts our men on the concrete, cold feet, neck deep in brutality, blood-stained, in pain. They think they own the world because of white supremacy. They hold us back so we don't fight back the enemy. They want our culture, but mock our whole identity. If I fight for justice now, will it come in the next century? We always stay divided. It's like we all decided equality wasn't worth fighting for. This injustice disgusts me. It's impossible to ignore. Thank you. So that's from my book, Daydreaming. You can go to my site, cydtalks.com, and you can get that if you haven't gotten your copy. Then, so in my bio, Larry mentioned that I'm working on another book. So for my next book, it's going to be about like my trip to Paris and what that experience was like for me, and like how it was setting up for it and then going. So these are like some poems I'm working on for my next book. You drain my energy like an app drains a phone. When we talk, I have to watch what I say like I'm talking to a cop. And I hate that I have to interrogate you every time you don't defend me. If he is holding a gun and I'm unarmed, then how can I also be guilty? Why is it so hard for you to be on the side of your best friend? And then, but this isn't about you. Although you put this train into motion, I was the conductor. I can't blame you for this train wreck, even though I want to. I let my frustration boil until the volcano erupted. Although you got burned, I did too. But this isn't about you. Thank you. And then this is just a fun little poem that I wrote. It's called Beautiful but Fleeting. Oh wait, no, sorry, I'm gonna read a different poem. This is, it doesn't really have a name. Don't you love it when the sun peeks through the sky? It's like when your eyes meet mine, We have this magnetic force pulling us together. We are science. Some think we're real and some think we're fake, but we know what we are. We are the clouds that cover the sky and let glimpses of starlight stream through. We are a blue sky seeping through to your eyes. Thank you. And then the other poem I was talking about, beautiful but fleeting. Cotton candy clouds with a blue backsplash, making you believe you can fly. But don't get lost. Just watch the silhouette of the trees waltz with the breeze. The birds perform their glorious symphony. Listen. Have you seen a flock of birds fly like synchronized swimmers in the sky? It makes me want to dive right in. Soon the sun will subside into the sea, but it will come afloat the next day. That joyful feeling won't fade away. Thank you. And then I'll do another of my spoken words. This is called My Feed. Scrolling through my feed, liking pics I don't like, reading comments that make me wish I looked like that girl. I scroll deeper into my feed. I see parties I wasn't invited to, people who knew me that I don't recognize anymore. Tears scroll down my cheek, and I wish I could delete them all. But you can't swipe all your scars away. You'll just have to wait until they fade because filters are making you question your own beauty. And is beauty even worth it if you don't believe it yourself? When your comments are filled with compliments, but compliments can't compensate for voids inside your heart. Voids that start to tear apart someone that you see in the mirror every day, but the image keeps getting foggier and you can't wipe that fog away because you're afraid of what is left of you. A broken-hearted person on their feed. Wednesdays, I don't check it, but I see spam after spam after spam. It's a feeling I've come to cope with. Loneliness. Don't apologize for not tagging me. You know what you did, and when you tag someone in the comments, it's really not the same. Now tears scroll down my face to the point where I can't see. And the only thing that's stopping me from being happy is my feed. Thank you. And then the last poem I'm going to read is sneak preview of a poem I'm going to read on MLK Day at the MLK Cabaret. And yeah, my sister put it in the chat as well. So you can get tickets for that event in the chat. And but I'm just going to give you a little sneak preview of that. So, if I had a dream, would you still be sleeping? If you fought for justice, would Black mothers still be weeping? When we stand still, we are seen as a threat. The National Guard intrudes on our peaceful protests, yet people storm the Capitol with their red caps and all, but Colin Kaepernick took a knee and his career took a fall. Yeah, so that's it for the sneak preview. But I hope you guys can make it out to that event on Monday at 8 p.m. So thank you. Those are all my poems. You can get my book, Daydreaming, on my website. And yeah, thank you for having me.
Hi Larry, thanks for having me, and thanks to Cydney and Teyanna, who we'll hear from later. My name is pronounced Husnaa, but I appreciate your effort. I'll read a little bit from my chapbook, which is out of print. It was published by The Head and the Hand at the end of my YPL term. Saccharine cracked ancestral pool of blood for a hive. Your lips were bitter lemon peels, zest heavier than lead, prodding through a skin predestined, predetermined for more than your expectations. You wanted me to move in the Muslim way. Translation, for my soul to leave its body, for the quick seconds between representing birth, life, death, judgment. Copious amounts of Elodia cells oozed out of your nail beds as you separated the flesh from my bone, digging through, into, out of me, the ocean being the expulsion of my insides. This is not a metaphor, not syntax nor over-exaggerated imagery. It is simply a recounting of the occurrence. Energy leading to the preservation of self. Life, only part of the whole, giving way to lifelessness. No part of the coast willing to claim us whole, only as the crystallized fractures from the ridges between jar and lid. Back door swinging shut, rides just to ask for love, no love, empty honey jars, light streaming through large windows, holding, asking you not to fight with her, looking up, how I was looking down, playing with fish eyes on kitchen floor, dropping slinky down basement stairs, haughty emptiness. Why is darkness so familiar without you in it? You didn't even bother to stay in the shadows. Instead, how am I supposed to forget, forgive? Psychosis makes full eyes water into extended fullness. You were always the one who killed me in my dreams. Yet when I almost died, you whispered empty apologies. How I do not appreciate you. How I feel no connection to you. Why do figs fall off fig trees and rot at the bases? Why did your love fall from your heart and rot around my ankles? Rested love in the back shed. Honeysuckles in the yard growing on gates. Summer sun down yellow slide. Weak. I wonder if you ever visited those buried bodies. I wonder if those miscarried fetuses rot in earth like cicadas and figs do around tree bases and your love does around my ankles. I never wanted you to be sorry. I just wanted you to try and fill the honey jars with more love. Place the figs in your heart. Reverse the collision of the suicide as it unattempted itself. Roll apologies into the fish eyes. Bite honeysuckles on your own time. Buy the fetus a headstone and stop moving on when there's too much you've left empty. I wonder if you ever worry about the growing fetus inside your new wife, never being birthed. Maybe you were always the problem. Bad genes, ugly jeans and big Timberlands. I always stood around your ankles and you never picked me up. Maybe that is why I'm still down. On behalf of anyone who has waded this tide, you said that someone looked over you, past you, eyes glaring into whitewashed walls, eyes settling on legacy student, POC being PO contraband, translation, nothing, translation, the infiltration of an insular area with otherness, that previously regarded and in the regarding erased, that existing when told not to. You spilled these memories to me in my college interview. You spilled, coating my ears in toxic filth, turning me off from the school entirely. After the Super Bowl, I imagined a dozen St. Joe's students baptized in the Schuylkill. I imagined a dozen UPenn students gunned down on Chestnut after blocking traffic, like protesters are. A dozen Temple students arrested on Broad. Think about displacement. The 9 white boys next door banging on and screaming through my bedroom wall. Beer drunk. How I went part in none of it. You said, do I, you, we, notice how no one was killed this time? Listen to me. Do you hear it? The inflection or lack thereof? It is moments like these I think of mouths full of grasses, feces baked into a pie. I will pour the accumulated tension as melted wax back into your torso instead of telling you these stories. Again, this is not a metaphor, just life. I will puncture my own veins and pump carbon dioxide into bloodstream, unhook detoxifying IV, and won't pray for the moving tectonic plates to take me home. But what does this say of my skin's gravity against the world? What does this say of flesh torn inside out, honey rusted cicadas, hexagonal wax, but memoried metaphor? Where are the lines or curvatures between your skin and the rest of the world? I'll read one more from here. To To be Black, idiosyncratic Muslim girl child is to be lost and found, the depression and the depressed, the religion and the sinner, the lie and the truth, the psychosis and the psychotic, the fruit and the infectious weeds, the tear and the retraction of sadness, the ache and the needle and the stitch, the family and the estranged, the kitten and the lion, the poet and the poem, the 10 and the 0, the date and the dated, the empty pot and the full belly, the wink and the snicker, the dead and the reborn, the onion and the dry eye, the contradictor and the contradicted, the hopeless and the hopeful, the key and the shackle, the fear and the fearlessness, the plentiful and the impoverished, the lonely and the accompanied, the present and the gone, the accepted and the rejected, the dying and the life support, the moon and the sun, son and daughter, the decision and the interjection, the charged and the acquitted, the stability and the torn upness, the glue and the fracture, the bee sting and the lavender oil, the parched desert and the cool tsunami. To be Black, idiosyncratic Muslim girl child is to be optimistic and worn out, tired and well rested, suicidal and content, diamond and steel, lilac and azure, peaceful and American, refugee and citizen, tree trunk and twig, scared and wide open, disease and antibiotic, St. John's wort and Prozac, holy cow and leather wallet, beach and busy city, serenity and chaos, prepared and oblivious, heat and shade, shadow and original being, death and life itself, itself, it, self, it, self, it, enough. I'll read one more poem that I'm working on, and this is Dispatch 2024. I did not consent to society, and yet the birds still sing. Everything has an umbilical except for the empire. The orange man on my glass screen instructs the empire's residents to puncture their skin and leak in chemicals. We are water, and we are instructed to inject our interior oceans with poison. I do not remember the orange man's name. I do not remember where the orange man lives. I do not remember the beginning or the end of his reign. I do not recognize the empire as ever existing. I do not remember the flag of the empire. I remember only its construction. Artificial lattices of steel built without a loving mother to be tenderly cut from. Each day I perform an inventory of the master's tools. The mining of the earth equals a body excavated for cities, roads, assassination. I remember orange and alabaster men for centuries raising flags and teaching their empire's residents the easiest ways to die. I remember the men killing the original residents of this place I was stolen to. I remember the empire's midwife removing my dead brother from my mother's birth canal because when she said she was in pain, they told her that her pain was not real. I remember this as an instruction of the empire to the fake scientists, a message from a man, TM, and the CDC to the empire's residents. There is no separation. Would they have excavated, preserved, and displayed my mother as the far Western Empire did Sarchi? She is always near. Miss Sarchi Bartman's memory is held in my memory as an opened wound. The wound refuses the confines of this poem. The wound rejects pity. The wound demands calendula salve, warm water, cotton thread and a fresh needle, dried cedar burning over a shrine. The wound demands a mirror, tells me to see my image as a reflection of my matriarchal bloodline, a trail of blood trickling between umbilical cords for centuries behind and in front of me. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I just want to quickly thank the two amazing poets who went before me. Your work is so incredible. I also want to thank the Moonstone Art Center and Larry for this opportunity. So yeah, I'm just gonna share a few poems that I've written some recent, some a bit older. But I want to start off with a few comedy poems. This first poem is entitled 2020. 2020. I'm writing you to let you know what an asshole you've been. Our our 1 year relationship was overly complicated for too many reasons to count. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I had high expectations, but you couldn't meet half of them. You came with so much baggage, you were extra and so problematic. Like you had to be on some shit. I'm just praying we can both afford therapy after the hell you put us through. And your family is insane. They need help too. Corona needs to go to jail for all of the chaos she caused. Quarantine needs to be kicked in his ass for playing so many mind games. And election was okay, but the whole aftermath was a drag. I mean, you lost. Get over it. Our relationship is one that I won't forget. You have impacted me like no one else. The trauma shaped me into the person I am now. I wish it didn't take all that, but I guess that's how life works. I think the messed up part is what you could have been. I mean, I think about the possibilities too much. You could have been parties on the beats, concert lights, and good times. Instead, you were stupid politicians, pea brain gym freaks, and good for nothing stimulus checks. Like, what the hell is $600 gonna do? I would really, really like to know, like, can someone please fill me in on the details? What bill can that pay? So, 2020, if you're reading this, just know that I have changed. It's crazy to say, but I have grown from our time together. But do know if I see you on the street, I will swing. Thank you. Okay. This next one, it's one of my favorite poems. I feel like a lot of my friends say that this is one of my best poems. But I'll let you be the judge of that. This next poem is entitled Sex and Lovemaking from the Mind of a Virgin. Man, I want some dick right now. Or at least what I think dick is. The thing between a man's legs, the exhilaration of a cross between lovers, the sex. Looking back at my non-existent love life, I think I know enough. The basic high school sex ed class and the numerous viewings of movie sex scenes have been okay. Though I'm baffled by the use of condoms in film. I mean, I never see a person put one on and I'm like, how did you not end up pregnant or with an STD? Besides some hiccups, I'm good. I know who can do it, how it can be done from the front, back, side to side, and the plethora of spaces it can be done in. I'm caught up on the feeling though. How does it feel to have sex? How does it feel to make love? Do you make stranger faces making love compared to having sex because the dick is just hitting it differently? The penis goes there. It goes there. And it's gonna fit? Okay. I guess that depends on the situation. Is there a difference between sex and lovemaking? This one aspect of life has left me with questions I don't have answers to. I guess I'll never know until I get some dick. If I get some dick. Thank you. This next poem, as was mentioned by Larry, I love sci-fi. I really, really do. So these next couple of poems are going to be on my little sci-fi kick. This next poem is entitled Damp Wings. The night is cold. The enemy has me at the edge of a cliff with my children in my arms. I know these are my final moments. The gates in the sky are opening, my wings are forming. The enemy won't get me. I've made the decision that life with my enemy is not a life for my children. My enemy will not raise my children. This life is dead to us. There's more to behold in the inviolate space. As the enemy closes in, I pull my children's wings out from their backs, trying to dry them as quickly as possible. You see, I can't carry my children into the sky. They have to fly through the clouds themselves. With the enemy's blade in my face, we jump off the cliff. With our wings still damp, we take the leap. The wind in our faces, blowing our wings dry, no longer bound. We've escaped the enemy. Thank you. Okay. This next one is entitled Escaping Titan. The galaxy is on fire. Hell has frozen over on Titan. The Absolute threatened to destroy the moon at its core. Compromise is not on the table. Teyanna is a woman of hope and blue blood. She strives for peace in the world. The Absolute strip her of her protection. Her mind is troubled by vengeance. Gabriel is a man of skill and soil. He wants to lead his world to freedom. The Absolute strip him of his family. His mind is troubled by vengeance. The war introduced these two strangers. Teyanna became his family and Gabriel became her protection. The Absolute was their beginning, but their time was limited. The moon is dying. The Absolute want to use blood as an example. Teyanna and Gabriel race to evacuate Titan. No more families can be broken, and the people need protection. Peace requires sacrifice. The galaxy needed a queen. Gabriel felt that his love for Teyanna can never outweigh the needs of the galaxy. Gabriel died, securing Teyanna's place in the cosmos. Within the rubble of Titan's implosion lies his body. Yet his soul is forever attached to Teyanna as she leads the galaxy to freedom. Thank you. Okay, so these next couple of poems, I guess you could say I was really intertwined, I guess you could say, with my Blackness. But this next piece is entitled Untouchable. Some shit you can't touch. Some shit you can't do. And some shit you can't say. And you're just gonna have to deal with it. This crown on my head adapts to emotion, every kink and curl a roadmap to heaven. My tongue speaks life and death. This dialect is poison to those not chosen to use it. This skin was dipped in the sun's fountain of joy and gold. It never was or will be ugly. My swag can't be copied and pasted onto beings not capable of the cosmic radiation. You can't touch this. And you feel some type of way about it, don't you? But don't be mad. Just appreciate. Don't make money off of stuff you stole. Don't monetize my existence and call it your own. Don't cash out on this masterpiece because this design is exclusive. You are in the presence of greatness right now. Learn and listen. Grow and gratify. My shit is mine. You can look, but don't touch. Thank you. And this next piece is entitled Mute. Silenced in life and death, matter then and now, crying here and later. This is what America does to you. If Breonna Taylor could talk, America would drown out her words. The cries and screams of color are painted white. Her light was taken in the dead of night, without reason, without cause, without consequences. America chooses to be death no matter how loud it gets. I've been yelling for 400 years, and you won't listen, won't accept, won't repent. You say it's my problem when it's really yours. I won't claim the gun in your hands. She deserves to be here right now. She deserves her happiness. She deserves her legacy, not the plague that you sentence us with. This disease blinds you, mutes me, and kills us. How many more lives have to turn to nightmares before you realize that this is the American dream? Not the house with the picket fence and the dog in the yard. It's the blood on the street and the violence in your existence. I've chosen to wake up from the dream, yet you can still kill me in my sleep. What must I do? What must I say? What must I become to be in America? Because words mean nothing and everything here. It's just a matter of who's talking. Thank you. So this next poem is entitled Could Be. Looking myself in the mirror, tears in my eyes, I come to the realization that I am in love with you. Can't tell you. Can't let my selfishness get in the way of our friendship. 8 years of kinship ain't worth my fleshly desires and bottled up emotions. Scared that the weight of my love for you will crush me. Terrified that putting pen to paper makes my feelings real. Hoping I won't have to say this and explain it later. You mean so much to me. You are my best friend. That's all you are and all you could be. Thank you. And we're coming to my last poem. Just want to quickly thank everybody for coming. Thank you to all the poets who came before me. Thank you, Larry. Thank you again to the Moonstone Arts Center. Truly, truly appreciate this opportunity. This last piece is entitled The False Prophet. I grew up believing in a false prophet. His name is Silence. He told me he would protect me, but his shield was made of glass. He never left me content. I was never truly happy. He gave just enough, but never brought abundance to the table. I would accept his ways, but was never completely satisfied. Looking back at my worship, I realize I wasted opportunities. I wish I would have trusted my voice sooner. Thank you. Thank you all so much for this opportunity. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Terrific reading this afternoon. Thank you all.